All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, I guess. We're back at it for some more OpenRCT2 gameplay. Um, Today, I'm probably going to do the Diamond Heights scenario and see how far we get with that. I don't know how long I'm going to stream, and if we can, we'll get started with Evergreen Gardens. Um, so I'll jump right into it here. Pause it. And once again, I do apologize if there is a lot of background noise. My studio, if that's what you'll call it, is in my basement. So um, this is only my second day streaming here. I did build a kind of a supercomputer a few months back. I figured why not use it for some more stuff. I can definitely handle streaming things and doing some more interactive things with the website. But the microphone I'm using is a very cheap kind of $20 microphone that I got off of Amazon. Within the next week or so, I will probably be upgrading this. Try to either get one from somewhere or see if there's any better models on Amazon. Um, you know, since my computer's in the basement, my Wi-Fi router is not in the basement. It's actually on the second floor of my house, so it would kind of be impossible to um, bring an Ethernet cable down 2 floors and drill in the walls and floors and stuff. So I do have a Wi-Fi adapter on my computer, so that's why at times like yesterday, the first stream there was a connection problem. I sort of lost a connection for a second, and I had to restart the stream. But the second stream went okay. We streamed for almost an hour 45 minutes, and I didn't run into any problems. But I'm looking into a UPS for my computer just because I only have one outlet downstairs and I have one power surge connected to that outlet and a carbon monoxide alarm. So I also have a mini fridge down here. I have some lights and stuff connected all to that one power surge. So when the mini fridge kicks on, once in a while, I will see that my screen kind of glitches for a second, or I have a bit of a power loss in my computer. So I kind of want to, smooth out the power that's coming into my system. I don't want there to be as many connection issues, so I might look into some solutions that I can do wirelessly for that. But I think what we have so far. Oh, and I'm also probably going to be picking up a webcam of sorts. A very basic, little nice webcam, nothing too crazy, but something that I can sort of put myself into the stream like more traditional streamers do on Twitch. But anyways, Diamond Heights is the fourth scenario. We already completed Forest Frontiers, Leafy Lake, and Dynamite Dunes. And Diamond Heights was always a scenario just like Dynamite Dunes. This is one that gave me a lot of problems when I was little, or a kid, I should say. This was my always my favorite game. The original Roller Coaster Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 were two of my favorite games to play. When I grew up, I didn't have an Xbox 360 until a couple of years before it was phased out. I had a Nintendo DS, but other than that, my other gaming systems, I had an original PlayStation after they were already on the PlayStation 2 or maybe even the 3. I had a small Game Boy Color, but other than that, computer games were sort of my thing. And Roller Coaster Tycoon with my interest in the amusement industry, it just made sense that most of my hours playing video games were logged playing the Roller Coaster Tycoon series. Um, but this is always a scenario that gave me problems, and part of that was because I didn't understand the concept of what they were asking for. This one's a little bit unique. Most parks will ask you to have either, a park rating or not a park rating. Yeah, park rating satisfied or a guest requirement by a certain time frame. There are some scenarios out there that will ask you to simply repay a loan that you had taken out, but this is one of the few scenarios I think that Dinky Park, also known as Pokey Park, is one that requires you to have a park value by the end of year 3, and we're not going to be held down here by a park ratings. So not that we want our park rating to dip. Park rating is one of the things that plays into park value, I believe. But basically our only constraint here is by the end of year 3, we need a $200,000 park value. Currently, the park value is at 120, almost $121,000. Um, So, we're not that far off. But park value is actually something that's sort of hard to explain. It's sort of hard to explain, but trying to think of how to word this. It makes sense. So essentially, this scenario, it's going to be played much like the other scenarios. We're not targeting 700 guests. We're not targeting 1,000 guests, but we're going to want as many guests in the park as possible, because the more guests in the park adds into your park value. The more guests that are riding rides also plays into that park value. And the amount of rides you have in the park, the amount of things you have to do will also play into that. So this park value is, looks pretty good right now. We only have to get 80,000 more park value or so. But the problem is that rides will decrease in value over time. So the scenario reads here: it's already a successful theme park with great rides, develop it to double its value. And we do have a bunch of rides. This is more rides than any scenario has given us so far, and it is one of the largest developed parks out of all the scenarios in the original Roller Coaster Tycoon. You already have 550 guests or so in your park, which is kind of what we needed for Leafy Lake. So it's a good number to have. There are one, two, three, four roller coasters already built. This kind of dueling Wild Mouse is actually a Mobius loop coaster, so it's only counted as one. But Claustrophobia and Acrophobia are their own sort of dueling, excuse me, their own sort of dueling rides. Arachnophobia is a junior coaster, but it has a very high excitement rating. And you also do have a couple of flat rides, a train, and a log flume as well at the front of the park. The problem is, though, is this park value will start, after the first year is over, it will start greatly decreasing. You can get, I believe the last time I played through this, by the end of the first year, with not too much else being built, it went down to 60 or 80,000. So, basically almost half of the park value we have right now. Um, but the name of the game is still the same here. Build as many rides as you can, develop the land, try to attract as many people in the park as you can. And one thing I was actually reading up on today, because I was trying to get a clear answer of what plays into park value for the stream. It's a variety of factors, things that I didn't even know until I looked it up and I found a website. Something as simple as how quickly your guests are getting on the ride. Every 5 minutes or so, it tracks how many people have ridden a ride in your park, and the more guests that ride a ride, the more that's added to your park value. So it may be beneficial in a scenario like this. Typically I like to build pirate ships and the scramblers, which have longer ride cycles to get a higher excitement value. That way you can charge more for a ticket. But this scenario, it might be beneficial to build, shorter roller coasters and shorter cycle flat rides, because you're trying to get as many people on and off those rides as possible. So you may sacrifice the excitement value and the admission price that you're able to charge, but in the long run, for the park value, it may benefit you in that way. So you kind of have to rethink the way that you're playing this scenario in a way. Yes, you're still trying to attract guests. Yes, you're trying to offer a good experience, but at the same time, a lot of other factors also play into that. The age of your rides. It's also not a good idea to duplicate rides. We really haven't done that at all with the other parks that we've constructed so far. But with each ride that you build that is a duplicate attraction, so let's say I build another merry-go-round at the front of the park right here, there is a 25% penalty. And I don't know if the penalty is only added on to the one ride that you have constructed, or it counts towards both operating rides. But that's a pretty significant penalty. The value of the ride, of course, will decrease over its life. And as it gets older, it will, basically keep devaluing. There is a cheat that you can enable that will disable the rides from losing their value, but I'm not going to do that, because that will pretty much, make the scenario very easy to win. With just a couple more major attractions, the scenario will have been won, and the rides will not devalue. But it may come down to something like, we have this merry-go-round here that's been here since day one. It has been built this year, but in the third year we may remove it and simply rebuild it, just to kind of refresh and renew the value that this ride has. There are many times where I've come right down to the wire. I've won the scenario with $205,000 park values. I've won it with 250,000. It just depends the way I play and the tactics I use, and basically how I'm pacing myself as I'm building, so that if I build everything right away, surely by the end of year three, it's going to devalue enough that I may end up cutting close to this $200,000 limit that we have to reach. But um, jumping into it, first thing I'm going to do, well, cheats just like we did yesterday. The only thing I'm going to allow is chain lifts on all track pieces and disabling brakes failure, just to add to a little bit more of the realism, real life sort of stuff you'd see in a normal park. Um, but yeah, I'm also going to increase the loan. So this is a scenario where I may not, take out too much of a loan and keep taking out, because that will factor into the park value and the company value. If you have money in the bank, but it's not your money and it's the bank's money, um, that will certainly hurt the park value. But we need a little bit of money to start here if we're going to start building things. Um, One thing to note about this park is there are no stalls. There are no information kiosks, restrooms, or food and drink stands. So if you focus on building the rides right away and you're not building, the supplementary stuff that you need, guests will become very angry very quickly, and a lot of them will leave the park, and that will hurt your park value. So I was reading up, shops and stalls do not add to your park value at all, but they do impact, of course, the guest experience, and that will indirectly affect your park value. So let's see what we have in the pipeline here. We are given the information kiosk, but it is a catch-22 situation because we do not have a drink stall. So we get the information kiosk to start, but the drink stall is going to become very important. So I'm gonna put all the money in the shops and stalls right away, and the reason being is once we get that drink stall, we'll be good to go in researching rides. The log flume and the rowboats, I don't think I'll be doing either. Of course, if I were to build a log flume, that would hurt the value of the log flume that I install. The only thrill ride we have is the pirate ship, so I may invest some into thrill rides after this. Coasters, the only coasters that are available as well are the three models that we already have in the park. So thrill rides and coasters may be beneficial to invest in. As far as gentle rides, we have two of them, but the car ride and the haunted house are available for use. And the only transport ride, we already have a train in this park. So not very much else to build right now. We could always build duplicate attractions, but it would hurt the value. So I don't know if that's the route we're going to go. After after research goes into getting that drink stall that we need, I believe I'm going to focus on thrill rides and coasters. There are a couple of gentle rides we can use. We don't really need another transport ride or a water ride at this point, and it would be a waste to research in the theming and scenery. Um, Another thing about Diamond Heights is the pathway system is, I don't want to say convoluted, but it's very non-ideal. The main midway kind of runs underneath here down the slope. It goes along a boardwalk. There is a leg out here towards Grimble's Gallopers and Acrophobia. So, it's kind of a dead end situation over here. There are three train stations in the park, though, which is nice. It allows people to hop on the train from anywhere and take them to a new section of the park. And then there's another one of these dead ends out here. You have Doppelganger back here, and you have another train station, but nothing else really out there. As far as land goes, it is sort of a spacious park. This is, on the scale of a leafy lake, if not a little bit larger. There is a bit of flat land over here. Um, there is a hair of flat land here, and there's some flat land in the back of the park. But other than that, you have these big hills. Guests will get very fatigued very quickly in this park because pretty much anywhere they go, they have to go up or down a large hill. There is a lot of flat land over the water, as I have said many times before, such as the Leafy Lake scenario. I don't really like building over the water, but that's something we may definitely have to do here. We're going to have to pack some major attractions in to meet that park value requirement. And there is some flat land back here, but the train station is kind of interfering with that, so something may have to be modified, or we may have to get creative with the way that we lay the path down. Guests will get lost or stuck in this park very easily, so that is something else to keep in mind. Try to loop some of these midways around. Maybe if we build something in this region, we try to connect the path from Doppelganger over to Grimble's Gallopers, and that sort of closes the loop of this section right here. Maybe there is a way to connect these pathways as well with a flat ride or something, so that it's more. Excuse me again. It's more accessible for guests, kind of, to enter. Um, so let's see here. I've done a lot of talking so far. I think first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the stalls. This way, we have a good amount of guests in our park right now. We don't want them to leave right away though. If you do not take care of these guests very quickly, they will certainly start leaving. In terms of handymen, we'll hire three more, and we'll hire another mechanic just so that we have enough staff to kind of support what's going on right now. And as we go along, I'll see if I need to hire more or start adding patrol zones for these guys. Right at the front of the park here, I think the first thing I'm going to add is the information kiosk. We have it, why not use it? Oh, forgot to unpause the game. So the information kiosk isn't going to add to the value of our park, but it will certainly, start bringing in some money right away. Information kiosk right there. And continuing along those lines, I think I'm going to add right here a couple of the food stalls. It's not necessarily the middle of the park. I would say right about here's the middle of the park, but um, gives people something to do. We don't have the drink stall yet, so I'm only going to build a pizza stall for now. $2 for pizza is reasonable. We'll get that open. This way, people are starting to get hungry. They have somewhere to go. And a bathroom, we got to remember, can't really build it too close to the food stalls, or people get a bit upset there. And I think I'm going to put it right about here. Again, sort of middle of the park area. We'll see if guests are complaining if they can't find the restrooms. If not, we'll have to add another one in the front or the rear of the park. But these stalls will start allowing us to get sales, and it will work out. So let's see here. I may modify some of these rides that are already operating. So I did disable the brakes failure. Doppelganger, I don't want to add block sections into, but with a 7.76 rating, we can certainly charge more for it. So 750 for that. The Indiana Railroad, I'm not going to modify just yet at all. We can charge 450 to ride the railroad, which will certainly bring in a lot of cash with multiple trains running. Short Stuff Slide is allowing unlimited rides per admission. I'm going to change that to single ride per admission, and we can only have 5 people on this at once. We'll see what price we're able to get out of it. We're probably only going to get $1 or $1.50. Um, Snake River Falls always has a problem of getting a long queue time. That isn't a problem just yet. So I'm going to charge $6 for this ride. We're able to do that. Just get some more money flowing, maximizing what we can get out of each of these attractions. Grimble's Gallopers is only getting about $1. I'll increase it by a couple of rotations, but not too many. This way we can get an even dollar out of it, and we can, keep people going on and off the rides, which will help for the park value. And, limiting Short Stuff Slide to only one ride per admission, not unlimited, that will also help people move through the line quickly. Um, I could modify Arachnophobia here, and I could add, the block sections in. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. There aren't too many people on the ride right now. So oops, didn't mean to delete that, but that's okay. And I didn't mean to delete those either, but that's still okay. Um, we'll do block breaks and then normal breaks. And it may end up hurting us a little bit here because we'll only have 2 trains. We'll make them higher capacity, though. We'll make them 9-car trains. It probably would have been better to keep the smaller trains. This way, more people are getting on and off the ride quickly. But in fact, we'll increase the chain lift speed as much as we can, or the tire speed. I'm gonna do the same thing here with agoraphobia and claustrophobia. Just simply currently has 6-car trains. I don't really want to modify the layouts right now. I want these rides to be operating, and I want them to be getting people on and off of them. So we'll start testing this one, and once this one's good to open, we'll modify claustrophobia. Modifying these rides really isn't going to get us, anywhere in terms of park value or anything. I don't even believe that it resets your, yeah, so this was built 2 years ago now. It doesn't, modifying it does not reset the date it was built, but it will allow us to charge more money for them. It will make them a little more realistic. And by charging more money, it'll allow us to build those larger attractions quickly. So we are getting a shopper stall for this. And that one's going to be synchronized with that one, so we're going to have to wait a second. Grimble's Gallopers, $1.49. We'll keep it at $1. It will have a shorter cycle though. Short step slide, 178, so we can charge 150 for it. Make a little bit more money out of it. And I hit that button again. Oop. I hit that button where it speeds up time, and I didn't want it to do that. Yep. Snake River Falls. I believe we already, yeah. So yeah, this ride very quickly here is getting a very long queue time. I'm gonna see how many boats we can add to it. I may just go ahead and add, something like 15 boats. Yeah, that's about enough. That should help with the queue times and capacity. Arachnophobia should be good to open. We can charge $6 out of it. So there we go. Agoraphobia is just about ready to open here. We're going to open it right away, and we're going to do the same thing we just did to claustrophobia. And we still have 6-card trains there, which is good. Can't remember how many sections I ate away at there. Looks like one more. Oh, wrong way. One more. Okay. So we'll test claustrophobia now. Agoraphobia, we're able to charge $7 out of. And claustrophobia, we're going to go ahead and put $7 on that one as well. That's what I'm expecting it to be. Open it up. Okay, so now everything's been gone through. We modified the prices. We're already making money off these rides, a lot of money, despite us having a loan and such things. Hopefully we get the drink stall. Yep, we get the drink stall. Oops, let me modify now. No need to research shops or stalls anymore at the moment, so we're going to go right into our coasters and thrill rides. And I'm going to build the drink stall right away just so that we don't get complaints that people are thirsty and cannot find anywhere to buy a drink. We'll charge $2 for a drink, see if people will buy it at that price. And we have some benches in this area, which is nice. People are going to enjoy that while they're eating, so we're going to have to add some bins as well. We'll just spread these out. There are already benches and lamps on the boardwalk, so can never really have too many bins in a way, because people will still knock them over and they will still find ways to fill them up. Put some by the entrance. Okay. Okay, there are some up over here. We'll add some more in this end of the park, and as we build more shops and stalls back there, we'll add more bins in. But this should be enough to kind of cover this area with the food over here. Let's make sure that people are buying drinks. Okay, no one's saying that the drinks are too expensive, so um, with the restroom open and with these stalls, we probably will still get some complaints because it is a larger park. But if we do, we can simply build some more stands in the back of the park. Another restroom, we could probably do another drink stall and the ice cream stand as far as food goes. Um, okay. I think I'm going to go right ahead and build another ride here. This is going to be tough to start using over here because there is the terrain. The paths we can simply bridge over here, but there will certainly have to be sort of a coaster or a ride that we can build custom in this area. Um, I could put the swinging ship right there. I don't know if I want to do that. Let me see if there's any other place. This map's really tough because there's a lot of shoreline and a lot of shoreline and a lot of places where it's tough to build. I may put the swinging ship right about in here, sort of over the water, entrance and exit. And, the queue line we can simply build. That will work. Oh, and that's nice. We can just go one over, make sure it's connected. It's not connected. Thought it was that simple. It wasn't. Okay, we're gonna have to build it out from the exit. It's not working. Okay, so a simple little key line right there. We'll call it Bounty. Sort of the generic intimate model name. Hope I didn't lose my stream there. Nope. My fridge just went on and the furnace went on at the same time, so I was worried that I lost it. We'll call this Bounty. Um, Swings, we'll go 15 swings. Being over the water and having some trees around it should help the excitement rating, but I don't want to make the ride too long. In fact, let's see what 12 swings gives us. Paint it brown and black, maybe. That looks pretty good. How does white look? I don't like the white so much. We'll keep it all brown. 216. Okay, so we can charge 2 for it. It's not the end of the world. It will be a shorter cycle, so it will bring in some more money. Um, and we'll add another ride sort of to the park, to the middle of the park area where we don't have so much room to build. And as you can see, even though we just started the game, we're only like a month into the scenario. We've already lost park value, even though we built a ride. Now I'm sure that the park value will go up a little bit with the addition of that ride, but we're already sort of losing money in a way. Um, so we'll just be sure to keep building along here. Getting some more guests in the park. I guess we could do a short advertising campaign. We'll do one for the park. 2 grand. The money will come right back now that we're charging more for the rides, and we have a pretty substantial loan to work with in this scenario. Okay, so we will be getting a scrambler. I'm sure that'll be the next ride that we install here, just to add to the park. Attract a modest amount of people more into the park. I kind of do. I'm not really a fan of the haunted houses, as I explained yesterday, but I may end up going with one here for the time being, just because we don't really have too many more rides that I want to build at this point. So there really isn't that much flat land. I may reserve this for the scrambler attraction. We don't have to build a haunted house. We'll hold off on it just because I don't want to build too much too early and have it devalue. Plus, you also run into the trouble with the haunted house that people will stop riding it very quickly, and that will not help with park value either. We'll wait for the twist to be complete. We'll install that and then hope that something like a coaster will be available next. A wooden coaster or something similar. I'm waiting kind of for a coaster to pop up to start building in this land over here because we'll probably extend these two paths over. We'll do sort of like, a bridge over the water, something, a terrain following coaster for this area. Maybe we'll be able to get a small flat ride in on this end. But we do have the twist now. That will fit in perfectly there. Yeah, we can do the entrance and exit off the lip of the shoreline there. Let's see, might have to go up one here. Nope, that'll connect right to the pathway. And this should as well. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Nothing too special, just small queue lines and pathways over the water. Um, we'll see what 15 rotations. Well, we actually will start with 12. I don't want to do the full 18 just because shorter cycle times in this scenario will lead to a higher park value. 212. Okay, so we'll be able to charge $2 out of it. At 12 rotations, it will be a shorter cycle time. Let me think here. I haven't really done orange at all in any of the parks. I don't really like the orange colors in this game, though. Um, Purple and yellow seems pretty good. As for the name, um, purple all around. I don't know. Sort of like the pal around carousel is it at California's Adventure Now, the Jesse's Pixar pal around, the Ferris wheel at California's um, Disney California Adventure that used to be Mickey Sun Wheel, and there was a name even before that. Um, yeah, there really isn't too much scenery wise to put in this game or in this scenario because we don't have any themes. We only really have the foliage, and many of these rides already have some trees around it and water, so that that can add to the excitement rating. So we'll keep it like that. Okay, we are getting a coaster this month, which is good. Look at our park value. Okay, so it went up. We do have more guests in the park now. We do have a couple of new attractions. So, and by modifying some of these rides, I'm sure that we boosted the value of them as well, which is good. Let's see. I want to go on something more thrilling. Okay, so that isn't a money thing, it's an intensity thing for Short Stuff Slide. As time goes on, we probably most definitely, if we keep this attraction and the merry-go-rounds, will rebuild them to renew their value. And it'll be easy because the queue lines will already be in place. Everything's already situated. It'll just simply be deleting what's there and rebuilding it. Already getting some vandalism as well. May have to look into hiring a security guard or two. Don't really want things being vandalized because I believe that will also hurt the park value. And we can probably hire another handyman. We have over 600 people in the park now. There's some litter in places. Um, and I may hire a couple of security guards to start here, just so that we have them roaming the property, preventing some of the vandalism. This is the first scenario where vandalism really starts to become a problem. The earlier ones you don't see it, but Diamond Heights, if I remember correctly, people will break a lot of the lamps and benches on this pathway in specific if they're getting upset. Make sure that people are buying the maps. Yep, maps and umbrellas are being purchased, so we're using this stall to its full capacity. And I want to also make sure that Snake River Falls does not have too much of a queue time. Yep, looks pretty good. I believe we can also decrease the dispatch time on that by a few seconds. That will help with filling these boats quicker. It just went down though, so it doesn't really make a difference right now. Spinning Wild Mouse. So not something that I was really looking for, but it's something that we can use. The big thing is you don't want to repeat the rides that you already have. These two coasters are fine because they were established with the park, but the other attractions we already have one of each coaster and don't want to repeat them and keep keep devaluing them in a way. The Wild Mouse, I was gonna save this for like a wooden coaster or an inverted coaster if we get that design in this map. I don't want to develop back here yet, so this plot of land's like right here. This will be perfect size for a spinning Wild Mouse. As for the paths, we'll probably have to. I don't really want to mess around with the railroad just yet. We probably will later in the scenario, but have to get creative. Maybe we'll do a bridge over the station here into this area to get that Wild Mouse up and operating. Not too much you can do here, but a couple of flat rides or a small coaster. And the Wild Mouse will actually be perfect for right there. All right, park value, check that again. We can repay some of this loan. Comfortable doing that now. Park value 125, so it went down just a hair, but we are now north of the value we started with by a little bit. And I don't really think I want to go with a custom design over here. We'll see what they have. Yeah, these aren't too expensive. Let's see. They all get about 650. And this one right here seems to be the most compact. Yeah, that'll fit. What else do they have? Dizzy Mouse. Okay, so that could be cool. You know, the elevated track over the railroad over here. It will cost a little bit more, of course. And Rat Race is about the same size as Mutant Mouse. Which one will get us the most? So Rat Race will give us the most excitement. Trying to see here which one would have like the maximum amount of cars available. Maybe Dizzy Mouse work out well here. Can I buy any of this land right here just to even it out a bit? No, won't let me. Okay, so we'll see if Dizzy Mouse fits in. And I want a good angle. The paths are already going to be a pain to kind of deal with. I don't want to build them up too much. Okay, so that's the edge of the property right there. Will that work? Okay, so we can kind of bring these entrance and exit ramps down here. And then I'm thinking maybe that's sort of a weird area, but maybe a bridge over the railroad station and make a queue line in this area. It will allow us to have 5 cars, so yeah, pretty. We'll start testing it right away. Should add a little bit of excitement value to the railroad as well once it's operating. And I'll start putting the queue line in while we wait for it to test. We're going to end up sacrificing a lot of these trees here, but that's okay. Don't want too long of a queue line. And I kind of like the way that this crazy paving looks here. Okay. And we'll go up and over. Okay, it's got to keep going up. Okay, that won't work. I'll do it more in the middle. The queue for this ride isn't all that long, so I may shorten that a bit. Right in the middle, we'll go up. You gotta keep going up there. Um, that works out perfectly, actually. So this may be something where, if we keep developing the land over here, I may loop it around. I might leave it as is. But it looks okay. We didn't have to shorten the queue for the railroad at all, which is nice. Do we get a... Okay, 6.19. We'll be able to charge $6 for it. So some high-priced rides in this scenario. The average person's coming in with $80. So they'll be able to go on, I'm assuming that some people come in with $50, $60. They'll probably be able to go on about 10 attractions or so, 10 major attractions, which is good, not including the money they spend on food and drinks and all that good stuff. Colors for this ride. The Wild Mouse or the Crazy Mouse at Fantasy Island used to be this color scheme, but I don't think I want to go with that here. Um, we'll call it something like Rodent Rally, I think. Rodent Rally. We'll give it sort of more of a about like an olive green. That looks good. And then maybe like a brown, sort of fit in with the forest area over here. And then the cars themselves will give them more of a I guess rodent color scheme, more of a mouse, if you will. Okay, so that's good there. This ride did boost the excitement value of the railroad a little bit, but that really doesn't make too much of a difference. And yeah, we'll open it right up. So that pretty much uses up all of our space back here, but there isn't much that we'd be able to do with that anyways. Um, let's see here. Is there anything I can do theming wise? We haven't really done any of that in this park yet. Um, yeah, without any actual theming elements, it's pretty hard here. Maybe these type of trees would look good, sort of by the queue. A couple closer to the ride. Maybe if we can fit one in here somewhere. Yep. Yeah, so fill the infield of the ride in a little bit. Oh, can I put one somewhere around here? Maybe. Okay, that's good enough. Nothing to be too proud of here. It is a canned layout, but for a spinning wild mouse, I wasn't about to spend a lot of time designing all those twists and turns and being aware of the clearance limits and such. Um, okay, so park value really jumped up with that attraction, which is good. I'm actually gonna go ahead. I like the jungle entrance for this one. Give a little bit more sort of color. Let's go with the abstract. How does that look? Yeah, we'll start doing some of this, make the park look a little bit better. Maybe do the log cabin entrance for the railroad. Same thing for Snake River Falls, or maybe I'll do the wooden one for this one. Give some variety. Bounty, we could do the wooden entrance here. Doppelganger, maybe the log cabin entrance. This isn't going to add to the value of any of our rides or anything, but it will give a little bit of theming to the park because we don't have any of the theming sets, or we don't have any elements to put around. The only thing we can do is put some trees and landscaping around the rides and maybe theme the station a little bit. But other than that, this park's a very generic sort of park. I'm just gonna take a quick drink of water. I wonder if anything was researched while I was building that. Doesn't look like it. Should have one in the pipeline here. Mouse cars for Wooded Wild Mouse. Okay. So I wasn't really looking for that to be one of the things that we research. Back in RCT1, I believe that that type of thing, like improvements for rides. So if you had a boat dock and you wanted to do swan boats instead of rowboats, you could specifically research for stuff like that. But in RCT2, all the coaster designs are kind of lumped in as one. The vehicle designs are just different. In the case of like a wild mouse, or of course the wooden wild mouse, you can have the mine cars or you can have the mouse cars. I was hoping we get something better though. I have no ambition to build a wooden wild mouse or change the vehicles on Doppelganger back there. We can probably do another research campaign for Rodent Rally just to get some more people in the park. We have the money now. Money's really rolling in this property, which is good. Um, and I'm gonna see how the downtime's doing on the rides, because in this scenario, um, getting people on and off of rides is certainly something that you need. Agoraphobia. We'll do 10-minute inspections there just to cut down the downtime. Claustrophobia, same thing. And it seems like our mechanics are having a little bit of trouble responding, so we'll hire a couple more. I don't want to do patrol zones just yet. And we'll do another handyman as well. And you know what? Why not? We have the money coming in this property that we can afford extra staff that we might not need necessarily right now. Our park rating is doing very good, so it doesn't seem like people are getting upset. I don't see any vandalism yet. Not too much litter, considering that there's a lot of, high speed thrill rides in this scenario. And we are getting another coaster, so it may be a good time to start thinking about building something over here. I would especially like if we get a traditional wooden coaster or an inverted coaster to, put one sort of in this area right here. But, when that time comes, there will have to be some major path development as well, so people don't get lost. And there are many ways for them to get around the park besides the railroad. Because the station back here, one over here, one up front is working well right now. But as we go along, I may even consider, if we have an area sort of over here in this area of the park, adding another one maybe right here or right here, just so that there's many ways for people to get around and about and not be so fatigued. Because they have to go down a big hill right here, and then they're going up. And if they go up here, they're going up, or over here, they're still going up. There's a lot of terrain to work around. And besides the back of the park and, right up here, we've pretty much already used up all the flat land we could for some flat rides and our coaster over here. Typically, I don't really like the spinning wild mouse design, but I kind of like the way it looks right here, especially with the color scheme. The jungle entrance, we put some trees in. It's, interacts well with the railroad and sort of the trees around it here. I never did like, how the paths end up looking in this scenario. They're sort of kind of all these different legs off of one another, but it is what it is. With the terrain and with working around the existing attractions, we really had no choice other than maybe bringing it underneath the railroad right here. But then the guests are going to be going up the terrain to get to it here. But putting it off the main drag is probably the best way to get people going in this direction and riding this ride. It certainly is a quick ride. 720 per hour isn't bad for a wild mouse. They are filling the cars, and the queue is doing well. How's the queue time doing? 3 minutes. So yeah, it's performing very well. It's a very quick moving ride. And I'm even gonna decrease the dispatch time on this just to keep boats moving a little bit more. We did highly cut down on the queue time. This was a full queue. And right now it's only at 4 minutes, which is very average for sort of a major attraction. I might go ahead. Do we have fountains? No, we. Oh, yeah, we do. Just add a couple of these fountains in here. Maybe a couple out here as well. I'm not sure if scenery adds to your park value at all, but certainly will add a little bit of excitement to Snake River Falls and just looks nicer for a property with a lot of water. You typically see big bodies of water in parks like this have, some sort of fountain just to keep the water circulating and so it's not very stagnant and still and getting murky and dirty. Okay. So our park value did jump up a little bit again. We're going to have to keep building, though, to keep up on that. Wooden roller coaster. Okay, so I'm definitely going to build a custom design here. It would cost a lot of money to put a design, up on this hill. The station can start right here, and we can sort of, maybe have a drop interact with the water, just like in Dynamite Dunes. Use tunneling to our advantage, have it come around. This is kind of the size I'm looking for. Sort of a twister style wooden coaster would work well. And we'll keep the research at thrill rides and coasters for now. That's what we need in this scenario. Um, okay. So we'll start the station, bit on elevation there. Um, you know what I'll do? Maybe I'll have it on a diagonal lift hill, something a little bit different. That's going to interfere with that, so get rid of that. Okay, that's cool. It'll go by Snake River Falls. Then maybe. Okay, we're already out of room there. So maybe I chop it down to 80 feet or so. We also do have the terrain working for us. So 0 feet, we can probably go down to -5 feet if we're right up against the water. So it's about an 85-foot drop. Um, shoot. Then I'll have to do. Really? Okay, so that's definitely going to look a little bit weird there, but it'll have to do. Or if I do something like that, a very a very odd sharp curve. Um, and we'll get rid of some of these trees. Maybe a steep drop downwards. Okay, so we do own all this land over here, which is good. And we'll keep it far enough above the railroad so it's not interfering there. Yeah, we do have some lands to work with on this coaster, so I'm going to tunnel it right away. Maybe just bring this up so that we can start our tunnel. The turn doesn't look that bad from this angle, but generally it would be a very wide turn, but we're going from a wide piece into a sharp curve into another wide. I'm not sure why that's a chain lift right there. Oh, you know why? It's because I never Okay. Forgot to turn off the chain lift because I have it enabled so that it, in this scenario, it will. And just want to make sure that none of these pieces have it on. You know what? We're just going to demolish all of this and make sure. Yep. Okay. So no drop out of the station. It'll go right into the lift hill there. Is very much interacting with Snake River Falls there. There are a couple of crossover portions, but that'll be okay. Um, just because we are kind of short on room in this scenario, and there are several log flumes that also interact with coasters. Okay, so maybe I. Why can't I? Oh, so maybe now we do a helix. Okay, maybe we do a down helix. Okay. Just gives something to do in the tunnel area there. Um, so that's going to shoot out there. I don't think it will clear that. I don't think it will clear that either. So we'll go up 55 feet. Well, I have an idea. We'll go swooping turn down. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, we're going to be riding right on top of the railroad if we do this. So maybe instead we go out one, not down. Maybe a sort of speed hill. Let's get rid of these trees so it doesn't interfere with the structure. And I don't want to bring it back right away to the station. I do want to kind of go out another lap. I don't want to take up too much of this land either, because we're probably going to use it for our next coaster design after this. Go up 40 feet. Just do a general turnaround. Okay, we're not able to do that. Maybe we do a double up here. Into, don't know. Yeah, we can do that. Then again, it's going to be riding right on top of the railroad. I don't really know if I'm all too much of a fan of this design. I know I said I was going to go with more of a twister layout, maybe, but you know what? I'm going to get rid of all this over here. So we start out first drop into a tunnel, helix, into sort of an out back style layout. We do have this land back here as well. I may end up using this. Okay, so we'll bring it inwards one. Okay, we'll do that again. Okay. This is going to have to come downwards. We still have a decent amount of money in the bank. We're pretty much about halfway done with this design, so and money is still coming in because this park's already developed. I wish that there was a better angle to look at this from. And this one's going to have to come down. This one as well. This one. This one. Good. Cut it outwards a little bit. It's just not going to like that I'm doing this. We'll see if this produces too high of forces or something along those lines. Um, I will just do a gentle or sharp turn rather. Okay. And I'm wondering why it looks weird because we have supports turned off there. Sharp drop downwards. We can't really go into the tunnel again right here because if you remember, the Helix pretty much swoops around there. So we're going to be running into that if we try. So maybe instead, it should be able to make it around. I don't know how much speed we're going to carry after this first drop, how much we're going to lose after, going up here. We should have more than enough speed. Um, Maybe another Helix down. And now we're going to be running into this here. So, nope, that won't let us. That could be cool right there. A Helix into a dive down. Um, okay, just so that we have it here and so that I know exactly where everything's gonna end. We're gonna build our brakes in right there so that you can see here. Um, can't build this here. What a coaster is in the way. Okay, so we probably won't be able to do that diving drop, but no, I can't do that either. Nope. And this is a tough design to pull off. Considering we're trying to conserve some land over here if we can. I may have to sacrifice the Helix right here. I just don't know of any other way that I'm going to be able to kind of bring it back around. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Maybe instead, we go through another one of these drops. So now it is looking more like a twister coaster. There's more turns. We are at 10 feet. This would be a very short coaster as is, though. So maybe we do a Helix up. Then we go up a little bit here. Then we run into the problem. We have a 10-foot difference between there and there. Um, let's see. Yeah, no, we're at 10 feet right now, so we're not going to be able to really, do too much more in here with elevation because we need to match up with this. Um, I mean, yeah, that is a very short coaster, as is. End of year one, how we doing with park value here? Okay, so not too bad, but gonna have to speed up with the building a little bit. We can go back this way. That is one thing because we're 10 feet above the railroad tracks, so we can go back this way. So maybe I do. Let me try that. Nope, that won't work either. Um, it would be nice to go around and kind of down. Or why don't I try that? No, can't do that. Didn't I just try that? I have a bit of an idea here. We were at 35 feet there. Um, Man, this is a very convoluted design. I guess it is sort of more of a twister design with the elements that you're given in the game here, but very very non-traditional, sort of layout. I brought it back this way, but I don't know, may have to bring it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Let's see here. Um, nope. Okay, we're right on top of the railroad tracks now. That won't let us raise or lower land first. Yeah, no, that won't let us do that. Um, I wish we could modify the railroad or get rid of it, kind of, but I don't want to do that. Maybe if I try. Man, this is just. I guess I don't know what I got myself into when I started this design in this location. I did build a coaster here once before, but I kind of made it so it was a sandbox mode game in this map. So I could edit whatever terrain I wanted to or whatever. And, the coaster more went out around this way. Some of this land I was able to buy. Or, okay, that will work. Um, can we do that? Damn. No, can't do that either. Because the railroad is in the way at that point. What if I try? Nope. Wow, this is tough. I really wish that I could just, bring it around a little bit more, but I might be able to. I mean, let's try. Nope. I just tried that. What's wrong with me? Um, hmm. Interesting. And the coaster comes right through here, so it's going to be tight fit there. Try. Nope, that won't work either. I might just say kind of screw it in a way, see what we can get by by just looping it around and ending it. It will be a short wooden coaster. It is sort of a twister layout though, which is kind of what I wanted, what I envisioned of this design. Let's see. And we can add a photo section in here as well to make some more money off of it, I guess. It will make up for being a bit shorter in length. I am hoping for about a 6 rating out of this coaster, maybe a 5.5. We'll see how long it is. Um, is a 6-car train, which is good. So turns out of the station, immediately goes up the diagonal lift hill. This of course interacts with the log flume attraction as well. We are holding steady at about 700 guests. I will run an advertising campaign for the park for about 4 weeks. That should be how long game time it takes for us to get this coaster open. Slow turn into the steep first drop on the diagonal. Comes into the tunnel. I guess you do have a surprise element there with the Helix. Comes up into a swooping drop, speed hill. Comes up into a turnaround, decent speed, into a drop. Up. Okay, clears that. Should be able to clear that, no problem. Okay, so doesn't look too bad. The edges are a bit sharp, but that's just because of the limitations with the game and the track pieces they give you. So we're gonna have to wait for this one to come back because we edited the chain lift speed while the first train was already out. I'm hoping for about 2,900 feet of track, at least 3,000. That would make it sort of, 2,800. Okay, so close enough to 2,900. This is about an outlaw run sized roller coaster, give or take 50 feet. Maximum speed of 50 miles an hour. Oh, wow. We were able to pull 7 out of that. So I may just open this as is. It is a bit shorter, but excitement rating wise and stuff, it performs well. Okay. Colors. We'll go with like a traditional sort of, brown wooden coaster here. We'll do different colors per train. We'll make one train black, and the second train. We'll keep that one red. We'll do orange restraints again. Black and red. Let's see. Don't know if I want to do log cabin again. We'll do the wooden one maybe. Now the challenge is bringing a pathway over here. I guess we'll start out. We'll use crazy paving again. Um, so I gotta go like that. Okay, get rid of this tree. Um, so let's see where we stand. We could draw one, right across here, and then another one right across there, and connect, make sort of like a pier. Um, if we were to research another water ride, if we were to get something like rapids, I don't think shoot the shoots are in RCT1 yet, but something like a river rapids ride could go in the middle here, interact with the water. That would work out, I guess. Um, so let's connect this up. kind of bad looking, just a long bridge across. But with this scenario, you kind of have to deal with what they give you. It is a poorly planned park, and that's why it is a park value challenge as opposed to guests in the park. It has rides, but it's just a poorly planned sort of property, I guess. And this edge of it will get us. We'll make it. No, I wanted to make it more out. Nope. Why do I keep doing that? Okay. Um so yeah, sort of have a bridge connecting the main midway here into a square with our new attraction. We do have a little bit of flat land here. Maybe we can put in some bumper cars or um, something of that sorts. I do want to pause really quickly though and see. I want to see if anyone's saying that it's getting too crowded. Oh, we have a lot of people running out of cash. I don't know if there is a cash machine that you can research, but that may be something that's valuable to get so that people will stay in the park longer. Um, I'm thirsty. This park's clean and tidy. I don't see many people saying it's crowded. We do have a lot of these one across paths. This midway is getting pretty busy, so may look to extend some of this or widen it rather. But other than that, I think there's enough foot space. I think there's enough paths in place, and we do have the railroad system so that it takes some of that crowding away. With every attraction we're adding, we're sort of also adding some more pathway. Here you have two different ways you can go to get to this ride, two different piers to walk across. And we'll add some benches and lamps and bins to these piers as well. Um, okay, so what to name this one? Um, I like the name Grizzly Run. I know that Grizzly Run is a name that's more reserved for a rapids ride. But they use Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City. Um, Outlaw Run is a name for a wooden coaster. I would use the name Grizzly, but Grizzly is sort of trademarked by Cedar Fair with their properties that have the Grizzly clone. So I'll use Grizzly Run for this. And we are getting $7 out of this ride. And on ride photo we can charge about 3, so possibly $10 per ride on this coaster. That's pretty amazing. um, will certainly help with our funds, and we can actually repay off this loan now. We have enough money in the bank where it's not going to hurt us. Okay, we'll add some benches right around this ride, especially because people will get nauseous. A lot of walking on this bridge, so put in a lot of benches. Okay, bins at the entrances of the pier right there, and we'll add some lamps as well. There are a lot of lamps on the boardwalk area, so we'll add these in. Um, yeah, a little bit light on the lamps, but that's good enough. So, I mean, I don't really like building over the water, but this space, I do think that rapids are available in this scenario. Rapids may be something that we can fit in the middle of this pier, at least be able to use some of the space. It will make it so that these long bridges over the water do not look so awkward. But that's really the only way that we could have. done a path along this oddly shaped leg, but then you're running into the coaster, and the terrain is also an issue. There's really no one by one flatlands to bring the path across, unless you do a diagonal or something of that sorts. We could have also done sort of like a diagonal path of sorts. That actually may have worked right here. That probably would have looked nice. And I may actually just do that right now. Worst food in the country. Not surprising. We only have one food stand and one drink stand in the middle of the park. Um, After I modify this path, I'll put in a couple more food stands and restrooms. And it looks like we may need another mechanic as well. Oh, well, we have five of them. Where's this guy? Okay. So this path juts out this way. This one we may end up doing a diagonal back towards. Or do I just keep it like that? I think it'll look better if we begin a ride in the center of this area here. The diagonal path may not look good considering that this one isn't a diagonal. Here they're sort of running perpendicular to each other. One going like this, it'll make like a triangular area. Plus, a lot of people here seem to be taking pictures. This seems to be a popular area to get up close with arachnophobia, so that may be adding something to the park rating of sorts. Um, oh yeah, I was gonna start a campaign for Grizzly Run. We'll do 8 weeks for that. It's a pretty major ride, and I am gonna pause the game really quickly. I am gonna look on my phone and see if the cash machine. I don't believe it was something you can research until RCT2 parks, but it may have been added in with Loopy Landscapes. If it is available, I may put maximum funding in the shops and stalls because a lot of people, the most common thought in the guest pane was saying that I'm running out of cash. If we can get these people to stay in the park longer and spend more money, that would be good stuff. So Diamond Heights, Cash Machine, RCT. The people are coming in with a decent amount of money, but I think that, a lot of them are probably wasting it right up front of the park here. There aren't too many people here right now, actually, but I think a lot of people are wasting it up front. So that definitely may be once they get back here and they start riding some of these bigger rides that cost more money, they may be out of funds, not including um, spending money on food and concessions. So I'm just looking Diamond Heights research items, maybe that will pop up. If there isn't a cash machine, I'm not going to waste all my money in researching shops and stalls because we'll put a couple more in here and we'll research a couple more for variety. But shops and stalls do not add to the park value at all. They just help with the park rating and um, keep your guests happy. Um, Gentle rides, where's shops and stalls? What else have we researched? We do have the mini coaster now. Not sure if that's something I want to put in right here. We do have go karts, which I guess there is some flat land back here, or actually I thought there was. Now it doesn't even look flat. There's a tad bit of flat land, I guess, that we can work off of for a go kart track. I don't know if that's what I want to do either. Um, Shoot, why can I not find like shops and stalls? Transport rides, gentle rides, researched, or Yeah, gentle rides, roller coasters. Then it just ends as if there's no such thing as thrill rides. Let me try it on the computer really quick. Bear with me for a second. Um, let's see. Shops and stalls researched. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like the cash machine will be available in this, so I don't really see a reason right now to research more into shops and stalls. Um, of course, I could also lower the price for some of these attractions so people will stay longer, but I don't want to do that either because then that's going to hurt us in the long run. I mean, we've already paid off our loan while we were still building this expensive coaster, so I don't think that I want to lower prices just yet. Park value right now is sitting at 181,000. We're at the beginning of year two, so probably by the end of this year we'll be at 200,000, and then it will be the name of the game will be just renewing some things, maybe adding one more thing, keeping the guests happy, which so far they seem pretty happy. I'm going to get on building some more shops and stalls right now. Um, so this is fairly close to the entrance. I guess the next place that would be smart to build some shops and stalls would be back here. Probably the next piece of land besides this that's going to be developed is right back here. So it may be beneficial to add some shops and stalls along here with that. I could put it over here. There isn't really too much flat land except for right there. Um, you know what I might do though? I might add the bathroom right there. Oops. I might add the bathroom right here just because it fits in. It's a one by one tile. And as for the actual shops and stalls, I want to keep space if I build a pathway up here, but trying to see like where I would be able to put a drink stall and an ice cream stand. I guess I could. Yeah, I'll bring these down. Ice cream stand we haven't built yet. Charge $1.50 for it, and we'll build another drink stand. See how these perform. Make sure that they do okay. Okay. We'll need some bins over here just because it's in front of a food place. We'll build some there, some at the top of the stairs, some there. Um, some more benches as well. Not that people, will need them for getting off a carousel, but we're sharing in this area people who are eating and people who are getting off of these major rides. So we'll need a lot of benches anywhere we can get them over here. Okay, so worst food in the country. I don't know if the awards hurt your park value at all. Our park value seems to be still inching up a little bit, but I might actually take out another advertising campaign just to get some more people in here while we have the money. And, you know, considering we started with, I think, 534 guests, by adding a couple of flat rides, now a couple of coasters, a couple of flat rides and a couple of coasters, we increased our guests by 200. And we may even see another 100 or 200 spill in because we just started the advertising campaigns. So I'm hoping that with this attraction, we will have 800, 850 guests in the park. That seems very reasonable for what we installed. And then probably over 900, 1,000 by the time we install another coaster. We put in, maybe a River Rapids ride here, and I'm actually going to. Oh, we do have the inverted coaster coming up, so maybe I'll stop coasters and invest in thrill rides and water rides. I would like a Rapids ride or something for right here. That would fit in well, and it would be one of those custom major attractions. Being over the water too, we could reclaim a little bit of land here, but the majority of the track would be over the water, and it would look just fine. Okay, so inverted coaster, I might just wait a second for the money to come back up a little bit because this will be an expensive coaster to build. We will get more people in the park here, though, with a couple more stalls. There will be more sales. Um, so the money should be greatly rolling in. The inverted coaster, I think a good place to put it would be right here. The path, it would not be too hard or too far if we already brought it out here to bring it up here. There is some flat land. I may modify the railroad just a bit so that we have as much of this flat land available. We could have it go out, maybe station here, turn, go out, do a couple loops, a shorter inverted coaster like the style of, sort of a Batman the Ride, and come back in. Not make it too fast or too intense so that people will ride it and it will profit. But, moderate size, but it will add to the value of the park. It will be one of those major expensive attractions. And let's see here. Park value's at 190,000 now, so we're increasing. By the middle to end of year three, it should be around that $200,000 mark, but I want to keep it well over, because these attractions now, what we have, are only going to devalue over the time. We're unless we get a lot more attendance in the park, we're really not going to go up. So it may almost be time. In fact, I don't think anyone's okay. So short stuff slides doing okay, but beginning middle of year three, these easy to replace attractions, I'll definitely renew them to help increase the park value as much as we can. The custom rides will have to stay. There's no way that I'm rebuilding a full custom ride all over again. Um, and just by modifying, if I were to delete one of these turns and put a new turn in, that does not renew the coaster. You actually have to rebuild the entire thing. That won't be worth it for the large rides. And the lost revenue by them being closed will definitely hurt things more than help. Um, I don't see any vandalism yet, so 3 security guards seems good. Maybe I'll hire one more handyman. We're at about 800 people now, so 8 handymen will be needed. The park rating's doing good. I'm not going to hire an entertainer at this point. Everything seems to be doing just well. Um, it's a big park land wise, but not a lot of the land is developed. Most of it is water. Most of it is this unused land over here and over here. So, we only need 2 bathrooms, 2 little sets of shops or stalls, and people aren't complaining. They're doing just fine. Um, so that's nice that we don't have to have, 5 different groups of shops and stalls around the park. How are these doing? Okay, so both of these stands are already making some money, which is good, with the other stands being the top profiters in the park over here. These stands probably are making hella money. Yep. Not so much the pizza stall, but the drink stall is really making money. Usually, drink stalls do make more than food stands. Um, okay, we should probably have one handyman up here at the front of the park. We'll take handyman one. There is a lot of litter piling up over here, so we'll set him to the rodent rally area, which is really dirty. Um, and we'll just have them do this front portion of the park. That seems to be where things are the dirtiest. Other than that, there's some litter here and there around the boardwalks and stuff. Um, but this area is staying very clean, which is good because these are very intense rides. And a little bit over here, that's okay though. I don't see anything too tragic at this point. And the mechanics, let's check on ride downtime here. Yeah, claustrophobia is still the top one, but agoraphobia went down. If these increase again, I may set a mechanic to just this small area right here. But I think as of right now, it's kind of going okay. Everything else is under 10% downtime, so not doing too bad. Not many people going on this yet, but we are filling trains, and it did just rain, so the guest count is still going up. A lot of people are coming to the park just for that ride, so that's good. Okay, it is probably a higher capacity ride too with the long trains. Yeah, it just went down, but it was over 1,100 guests per hour. It looks like, which is good. So we are going to be researching a dinghy slide here. I don't really like dinghy slides. They take up a lot of room. You're probably, if you're going to build something of that size, you're better off building a coaster in this game. Um, they're lower capacity because they're only like two-person rafts, and they also have the potential. They do crash, they do stall a lot more than like a normal coaster would. So I don't think I'm going to build the dinghy slide. I will keep water rides under research, though. I think I do want a rapids ride for right here. Seems like a good idea. All right, so we have a little bit of money back. I may just start plugging away on the inverted coaster. Or should I wait? We don't have any more throw rides. I guess I could do a small go kart track back here for the time being, just to put something up in this area. There isn't a lot of flat lands, but I don't really know what else we would build. The inverted coaster is going to take up a lot of space here if we do a rapids ride right here. So maybe something like a go kart track and a car ride for this upper area of the park. They will be custom track rides, so they will be worth a little bit more than the general flat ride is. Um, Maybe I make a really short go kart track with a lot of laps and a longer car ride. Something like that may work. It will also give a little bit more variety because besides these two attractions right here, all the other rides in the park are throw rides. Of course, besides the railroad and maybe the log flume, but we don't really have many gentle rides in this park. One more may be able to help. It does seem like though people are mainly coming to this park for the thrill rides. Um, okay. So there is a chunk of flat land here. There is some here. Claustrophobia is in the way there, and as of here, there is that very large slope. So it isn't really ideal lands to build too much upon. It will have to be a custom tracked ride, if anything, or a small flat ride could fit up there. But then you're building a path all the way up this hill just for a flat ride. Car ride. I'll probably start with go karts here. Um, Something like this might work. A small figure eight type track. That would actually fit perfectly right about there. Maybe I'll do that. Can I build it? Yep. Okay. So we'll get some added excitement value because of the trees. It does have a little dip, and if we do, 3, 4 laps on this, it will get its excitement value for that. Okay, time to get a little bit creative with the paths here. We do have paths back here for the railroad and for Doppelganger. We do have options right here as well in this area. Probably the best way to do this would be to bring it from both ways and make a loop. This way, this area is not so much of a dead end, and the same thing goes for this area. Um, let's get a queue line in there for this. I'll use the red, not too long of a queue line for it. It is a small track and don't want the wait time to be excessive. Um, I am going to have to bring this train down a block just because in order to get the exit path in there, we'll leave it as is right now. Maybe I'll go for back here. I don't want that path. I want it to connect to the front. Nope. Okay, good. Could always tunnel this path into here. This way that people aren't going up and down the slope. Just trying to find the best way to connect it over here. The railroad is pretty much hugging the side of this coaster unless we bring it underneath the support structure and then around here. That that will probably be the best way. So we'll sacrifice a tree there. I'll build an elevated pathway right there. How's that look? Okay, doesn't really interfere with the coaster at all. There are still supports on the back end of it. Um, oh god, so many trees. We're gonna have to toggle scenery here. Man, I could have fit the path in right there. Maybe I connect it up here. I don't want to go, like overboard. Shoot. Not gonna like this, but maybe if I... Okay. I'm gonna tunnel it, probably. Let's see here. Why won't that work for me? Is it just up? Oh. Okay. Just gonna have to bump this up a bit. Yeah, it would have been nice to connect the paths right there, but it's fine. Hmm. You know what? This restroom is gonna go right here by the railroad. So that's a nice little 1 by 1 space to use for it. Oh, and now I lost the path. Um, that work? Yep, people are going down it. So a little bit of a weird area right here. A lot of different tunnels and walkways, but this way they'll be able to go around, make their way to the go kart ride, and then we have the option of bringing it out over here and starting another ride. Um, I would really like to connect the paths right now, but I don't think people will end up getting too lost. There is the railroad right here. It isn't a very long path, but the railroad is right there. They can hop on the railroad and make their way down to more the front of the park if they need to. I'll add a little bit of fencing here. We haven't done too much of this, if any, on this scenario, just because the pathways are so weird. So it just kind of closes it in a little bit, makes it look a little bit nicer. There we go. This area does look really, really weird. It's kind of like tunnel land, but it's fine. I'll call it Tree Stump Turnpike. Another Darien Lake name. The Zamperla convoy style ride, the kiddie trucks. Tree Stump Turnpike. 7 cars is what this thing can support. It is saying 3 laps. We will see what excitement value we get out of it. I will add some of these trees back in here just to try to boost that as much as possible. It is a very bland track, but it's something that will fit in that small space up there, and it is a thrill ride. It will add to the park rating. Okay, so we're nearing the end of year 2, and the park value is dropping somewhat, but we are closing in on that mark. If you remember, we started at $120,000, so we've added over $50,000 of value with just what we put in, and we're not anywhere near done. I might hold off a little bit to put in this coaster, but Rapids ride, maybe another custom ride up here, rebuild some of the flats, and bring a few more people to the park, and we should be over that $200,000 threshold, no problem. I just really hate how the scenario always ends up turning out. It is different when you're playing it in sandbox mode, kind of, and you can alter a lot of this terrain and do things nicely. But you're racing against the clock. The park value is so much harder to determine than bringing in a certain amount of guests or having a certain park rating. You're always kind of against the clock in this scenario with keeping things new and always building new stuff, adding to the value, building the right things. Um, What value do we have out of this? Oh god, 4.56. So be able to get 450. That's a little bit more than I was expecting out of this ride. It is shorter as well. 7 cars as opposed to 9, but it is a shorter length, only 3 laps. And people will ride it. Um, we are starting to lose some guests, so I'm gonna just keep advertising. We'll advertise this one for 6 weeks. We'll do advertising campaign for the park for 10 weeks. That still leaves us with a decent amount of money left over in the bank. No loan is on the board, so that is all of our money. And I really don't want people to, start leaving the park either. We have a little bit over 800, which for a park of this size might be considered a little bit low. If not, it's definitely reasonable. There's no reason why we should, with what we have, be dipping below 800 people. We should definitely at this point start approaching 900, 1,000, especially with the next major attraction put in. 1,000 would not be an unreasonable amount. Um, we'll add some benches in up here. Not that the nausea rating of this ride's too high, but there is terrain there. We'll add some litter bins as well. Just a couple should do for this area. I wonder if I shorten it to 2 laps, how much of an effect that will have on the value. I don't mind sacrificing a little bit of the entrance fee for this scenario if it means that people are getting on the ride quicker. We'll make the money. The money is not really an issue. I was really only expecting to get about $3 or so out of this track, so we're pretty much getting double of what I was expecting. It's a very short ride. Okay, we'll see. Um, yeah, no vandalism. Paths are looking good. Rides aren't going down every other minute, so staffing is appropriate for this park. Um, so we have the boat hire. It's probably a lot of the different attractions that we will be getting here. We do not have the Rapids ride yet, which is something that I wanted. We built all the throw rides that we have. Gentle rides. The car ride will probably be next for me to build. The inverted coaster is what I'm targeting for the next major coaster in the park. That should definitely help the park value. Which is we shot over 200,000. I'm not expecting that to stay there for long though. Probably a lot of that is because we have more people coming into the park in the advertising campaign. But um, yeah, I'm gonna hold off on building for the time being, and probably about end of year 2, start of year 3, I'll pick back up a little bit to keep that park value as high as I can keep it. 2 more major attractions should be enough. If we get a couple flat rides along the way, I'll also install those. Stalls and restrooms we're good on at the moment. Same with staffing; those won't affect the park value really much at all. Okay, this ride's doing good too. I was hoping that it's a small queue, but I was hoping that it would at least stay filled. You know what I might do? I might actually extend this as well. Allow some more people to fill in this queue line. There's no reason to have a path extending around there. If you're coming over this bridge, you're really only coming for that ride. And I'm also going to put some benches there. Not sure why I didn't do that to begin with, because it is sort of a more thrilling type of ride. There was a lot of litter on that path earlier until I set the handyman's zone. I'll put some fencing in up here as well, add a little bit to the scenery of the park. I don't really plan on putting any shops or stalls right here. The info kiosk is there. There is a restroom over here, and the food generally close to the entrance. So, a little bit of fencing. Guess we can add some here as well for the railroad. Just like that. Nothing too crazy. This scenario does make up the lack of scenery that's offered to you, at least before you research it. There are so many trees, and with the water and interacting with a lot of these rides, it does add to the scenery value of the park, and a lot of the rides, the excitement rating gets greatly inflated. Like this go kart track should have only been like a $3 type of ride. I don't know what it is now, though. I forgot to. Okay, we can still charge $4 for it, which is good. Um, I'm not paying that much. Okay, so we're gonna have to reduce the price on these. We're already suffering the effects. I was wondering why I was seeing empty trains earlier. That would have been nice to know a little bit earlier, considering we're paying for these rides. Some people can't afford it, but most people seem like they'll be paying $6. Right. Okay. So it seems like people will pay $6 for that attraction. Grizzly Run is still doing good there. Arachnophobia. Where are you? Arachnophobia, people are still going on. Snake River Falls, people are still going on. Okay. I disabled brakes failure, right? Yeah, good. That kind of makes sense because these two coasters were the first ones put in. What's their intensity? I mean, yeah, $7 is a lot to charge for a coaster, but at the same time, they are a little bit older now, so hopefully we can start getting some people on it again. There are no comments that it's too expensive anymore, so it is what it is. Surely the value will go down again by the end of next year. We'll probably have to reduce it to $5 a ride or something, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the other older rides like this one, maybe this one now. No, people are still paying for it, so that's okay. As long as people are going on them, that's fine. When you start sending empty trains and you're not making money in these pay per ride parks, your operating costs are going to cause you to lose money. Over 900 guests, park value has dipped below 200,000, but we're within striking distance of it. And mechanic wise, doing okay. We'll add another handyman. We're at over 900 guests now, so usually one per 100 guests works out pretty well. I don't see too much litter. I don't see any vandalism, at least visible to me. Park rating is really high. Normally, this is a harder park to have a good park rating on. Um, Nobody's lost, so the paths seem to be doing their job. Um, Research canoes. God, So we're really struggling here. A lot of these different boat dock options are getting researched and not necessarily what I want. I'm definitely not putting up a dinghy slide. I don't think I'm going to go for a mini roller coaster. It is different than the spinning wild mouse, so it would add to the park value, it wouldn't take away. But I don't think this park is appropriate size for another, mid-size coaster. We already have, I would consider Arachnophobia a larger coaster in this park, but between Doppelganger and the Wild Mouse up front, we'd essentially have a third Wild Mouse. I think I'm going to start constructing, or at least constructing the coaster here. The inverted coaster should be done by the beginning of year 3, and I don't think that it adds to the value of the park until it's an operating attraction. So I'll build a custom design here. Um, yeah, so we're gonna have to build a station sort of like right here. I don't really want to close the railroad to modify it. It would definitely help if I were to bring this in a little bit, but I think that the railroad is serving too important of a purpose right now. A lot of guests have been in the park for a long time. They're more fatigued. We have a lot of benches, but at the same time, the railroad is profiting well, and it does have 3 stations. So, um, yeah, I'm probably wrong way. I'm probably gonna start it right about here, and then do a wide turn out. Can't do that unless I maybe do another station platform. Okay. A turn out into the lift hill, build it up. Oh, we're going to be running out of room here as well. Can I buy any land on that side of the park? No, I cannot. I don't know if you can buy any on Diamond Heights. No. Wow, they don't allow you to buy any lands, but I guess you get enough of it, and especially if you start using the lakes over here, that's a lot of lands for this game, for this scenario rather. I'll build this up about 75 feet. Um, and so we don't start interfering. Where does the property line end exactly? So it ends there. I guess I could loop it back around this way, but the railroad's hugging the edge of that. So I believe I'm going to start going this way out. We're not going to use this piece of land, I don't think, for a flat ride. There are other places we can fill it in. Um, and I don't want to make this too intense so that people don't ride it, sort of thing. Get rid of some of these trees here. So we're going about a 60-ish foot drop, which is fine. Maybe we'll go up a couple into the vertical loop. Um, we'll do a back-to-back vertical loop here. Maybe do a swinging sort of turn. That's going to end up being too high. We are at 75 feet. This will get us to 60. The inline twist is an option here. So maybe we do sort of, the 0G roll while we don't have a lot of speed built up, because these elements tend to get very intense um, as you gain more size. Into another drop. Maybe we do a large helix. Oh, can't do that. So maybe we go the other way instead. This coaster is going to be very general and very simple. You know, not going to be all that long either. I think that something very straight to the point will work out here. Maybe another dive down in this direction, do a corkscrew or two, and then back up. It doesn't have to be very long, and I also want to make sure that nothing is going to be too intense here. I definitely want people to ride this attraction. So, kind of a helix up, a dive down. Can't that. Um, yeah, that's not going to be enough clearance for this ride. So I think I'm gonna end up kind of bringing this down just a little bit here. Get rid of these for right now while I'm building. Okay, that's enough to get under there. Maybe we do a photo section under here, a wide turn over the lake, and then um, a corkscrew into another corkscrew. If I can fit it underneath here, I yeah. In fact, this is perfect. Um, okay, it's not perfect per se because it interferes with the railroad right there. But if we can bring it around this way, this is gonna actually all the time I spent monkeying around with the wooden coaster. This one actually works out very well, and it isn't taking up as much space kind of in this direction that I thought I was going to, but it uses up the space very well. Um, Shorter kind of ride, but that's fine. Final dip into the brakes and block brakes. Boom. All right. Just set that down for right now. We're probably going to have to modify either the railroad or this. I just kind of want to see, how these perform. We'll do 8 car trains. Um, I'll remember to bump the lift speed up before I test the coaster so that the first train will get us results. All right. I'm expecting part of this or somewhere along here is going to have to be modified. These coasters are generally very intense and very hard to get, so that the test results are swallowable by the park guests. So, turn out of the station, up the lift, it's kind of like a Raptor sort of deal, into double loops instead of having a 0G roll separating them. Go right into the loops. Okay, so the 0G roll is taken at slow enough of speed, goes up into a helix. Should have enough speed to get around there. Dive down into the photo section. This is where it may get a little intense as the 2 corkscrews. Doesn't look too bad, but that may be the one spot on the ride. It may even help. I might be able to put sort of a trim brake before the corkscrews to slow it down a hair, enough so that it has enough speed to make it around, but will slow down the forces on that corkscrew. Okay, nothing here is terrible. Um, Nothing's in the red, but I am expecting it to be a very high intensity and nausea rating, just because these inverted coasters, even if you build it small, I would say this is a smaller sort of design or an average design along the lines of a Batman. Of course, it's shorter than the actual Batman clones, but for the purposes of the game, this is a very average sort of coaster. 2,631. Okay, so very high intensity, but a high rating. I may add right here just one trim brake. We'll say take it at about 27 miles an hour. Oh, That should be enough speed. It may start to crawl around this section of track, but I'm okay with that. So it is about the end of year 2 here. Let me check the park value. $238,000. Okay, so we're already kind of over. Once this opens, and we put in one more ride, we should be very well over. This ride will probably open once I get the paths over here at the beginning of year 3. Um, which for the 3-year scenarios, that's something that I've been kind of aiming to do is the final year have a major attraction open at the beginning of the final year, add some supplemental stuff as the year goes along, and if we're good enough, then start to fast forward with a few months left in the timeline. This coaster kind of reminds me of sort of like a Top Gun at California's Great America. Oh, we are not going to have enough speed to complete that. Um, so I'm definitely going to have to. We'll try 36. I want there to be enough speed too, though, because it does have to climb, probably about 20 feet or so to get back up to the station. Just enough speed so that the corkscrews aren't intense, that it makes it around, but enough speed. I mean, our ratings weren't terrible. I would like to bring the intensity rating down a bit. Normally, the corkscrews are the culprit of that, especially if they're taking at higher speeds. Um, but I think after it makes it around, we'll start building the path and get it opened up because the stats are actually pretty good. Um, our park ended. We'll start another advertising campaign for the park. 6 weeks. We'll keep those rolling. We have the money. Okay, so the trim brakes grab it a little bit, slows it down. Will it have enough oomph to make it around? It will. That looks pretty good. Just enough momentum to make it around the entire track. Um, okay. The stats I don't believe changed at all. I think our lateral G's were at 2.20. We did reduce the intensity rating. It is now under 9. The excitement rating's about the same, so I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I mean, I'm sure a ride like Claustrophobia also has a very high, well, high. Um, one of these rides has to have a very high intensity rating. This will probably be the most intense in the park as it stands. Um, okay, so we'll paint it. I haven't used purple at all yet. I Purple is my favorite color. We'll do purple and maybe a green. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So, kind of a reverse Raptor because Raptor has the purple, um, or or no, Raptor doesn't have pink supports. It has pink on the trains. The supports are um, sort of this color green, I guess, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna do black trains and maybe yellow accents on this one. Oh, get a phone call. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had a phone call. All right. So, where were we? All right. So the inverted coaster is all complete here. I'm fairly happy with how the stats and all that came out. The only challenge now is going to be finding a way to squeeze in the queue line and the exit path. I think I'm not going to have any option but to modify the railroad here. Um, the problem is I don't really want to um, mess with any of the supports here or anything. So I was actually just thinking while I was on the phone. I wasn't really listening to the conversation that much. I may tunnel this. I may close it for a minute or so, build a tunnel, keep the same turn, but build a tunnel, and that should work out just fine. The railroad stats will be about the same, if not a little bit better, because there will be more tunneled sections. Um, but yeah, if we tunnel this, we'll be able to put in a nice queue line, maybe a little plaza right here, a couple more stalls and stuff. Just because this is at one of the kind of one of the ends of the park. We have a bathroom right here, bathroom right here in this corner, so sort of make the three ends of the park. All right, so I'm gonna unpause. Like I said, this will open about the beginning of year three once it's all said and done. And the park value last time I checked was like 200. Yeah, we're way over $200,000. So doing pretty good with that. Okay, so we'll keep that testing, but the railroad we're gonna have to close here. Just get rid of this. And as for this, we'll just lower that. Hopefully that tunnels right in. It won't. Okay. Raise or lower land first. What am I hitting now? Oh, just gotta raise that up a smidge. Um, just gotta bring it out a couple more. And there we go. Okay. Open it up. Or it's gonna need to test first, so we'll send it around a loop and open it. So yeah, this pretty much gives us the space we need now. We have more than enough space for a queue line up here and queue line. Build it out around. Um, yeah, that should be good enough. We'll go with the brown pathway up here as well. This whole coaster is actually coming together pretty nice. I didn't have to really mess with it a lot. The railroad was pretty simple to reroute, and now the queue line and the pathway are going in pretty good. Knock on wood, of course. Don't want to jinx anything just yet. Um, let's see which way I want to loop this around. So I could go this way, build it off of this path, kind of connect it with the island right here, so it's not just one long bridge going along. Um, I just want to be sure that no matter how I do this, the coaster is going to come close to the land in some places. Um, like right here, it won't let you do that because it's too close to the coaster. So, let's see. Unless I just go off the edge right here. I think it'll look better if I go out this way. And inverted coaster's in the way. Okay. So it'll let me go under there. Then maybe if I do something where I kind of bring the path out into the infield of the, or you know what I'll do actually, I'll just do a diagonal. Um, and I'll probably end up going with a too wide pathway here for this because it looks very funky just as a one wide. So haven't really done any diagonal in this park either because it is sort of more of a more difficult park to do that in, but and I hope that this doesn't interfere with our wooden coaster at all. Probably will. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, it looks like it's going to hug the edge of it there, but it's not going to interfere, which is nice. What did I do there? Now I really messed this up. Um, okay, well that one's definitely got to connect. Or no, that one's got to connect. And okay. Um, I don't know if that interferes with the support structure or not. It looks like it kind of hugs it right there, but it doesn't. It's really not that much of a big deal to me at this point in the scenario. Just looking to kind of get this one over with. Um, and we'll make this a two wide as well, just for the sake of keeping it symmetrical. Build this out here. Okay, that looks good enough. Hope I didn't affect the excitement value all that much. Doesn't look like it. So maybe out here I put like a fountain and it is year 3 now, so gonna have to kind of go into rapid fire speed a little bit to finish this design up. Um, yeah, just to ensure that the excitement rating remains high on this, we'll put a few fountains out here. Um, maybe some weeping willow trees along, the edge of the ride. Weeping willows are my favorite trees, so and then maybe to mix up the terrain a little bit, add in some of this mud. We have more than enough money now to start, dressing things up a little bit. Just make it a little bit different than everything else we got going here. Everything is, just grass. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. Name of the coaster. Um, trying to think of something like not necessarily foresty, but something like Legend or Raven are already taken. I want something a little bit unique for this. How about something like Nightcrawler? Sure, why not? Can charge 7 for this one as well as the $3 on ride photo price will help. I guess I'll add some music to this one as well. Uh, the fantasy style is always a good choice. All right, fencing. I'll do some hedge fencing here. Looks pretty good. This is all boardwalked in, so I'm not going to worry about like railings or anything there. And I'll give it the jungle entrance as well, just to add to the theme of it a little bit. That looks better. Yeah, I really do like how this design came out. I wasn't too fond of the wooden coaster. I think it definitely looked better when I completed it. I did want to bring it around another lap, but that was impossible. This coaster was just a can design. Man, this was only the third coaster we built custom in this park. I guess because the park already had such a great cast of a great cast of rides, if you will. Um, we'll do 10 weeks for this ride, and we'll do another one for the park. 6 weeks. The park already had so many great rides that took up a lot of space that there wasn't so much of a need to build so many right away. But once you start built two big custom rides that took up virtually this half of the park back here, the way I see it. And we'll probably build one more big custom ride if we do get the river rapids. That's what I kind of want to put in the middle of the pier right here. That will definitely help round things out. Maybe a car ride, a custom small car ride up here. It would have been nice to have the monster trucks, but maybe if the pickup trucks are available, that would be a good ride to put up there. um, let's see what we got here. Okay, so water rides are done. We'll do the gentle rides as well. We have the launched free fall now, which definitely something that can go on the swinging inverter ship. I probably will put those two attractions in here. Oh, and we do have the river rapids, so I'll probably put in a flat ride or two, and then move on to this one as being the next big one. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to do here was adding benches to near the exit here, just because this is an intense ride. We'll add some in there as well. Queue is a good size. Some litter bins in there. Put a couple at the beginning of the bridge. Maybe a couple benches on the bridge would be cool. And maybe switch it up. Do some of these style lamps. Good. That looks pretty good. We'll add a couple in there. One there. There. Okay, that's about all I'm going to do as far as theming this coaster and dressing it up. It is sort of a dead end, but it's not a very long pathway, so I don't think people will get lost or upset that they have to come out here for this attraction. Um, okay, so have the launched free fall. One thing I'm going to do right while we're at the beginning of the year here, short stuff's slide. Just going to rebuild this, get a little bit more of that park value in. Rename it the same thing. Um, maximize the people on rides, single ride per admission, open it up. And then after this, we'll replace the carousel as well. They're two of the oldest flat rides in the park, so they'll be very easy to replace. Probably then afterwards, after I build the next two rides, we'll replace the Scrambler and the Pirate Ship as well, just to increase the park value. Um, yeah, 150 is appropriate to charge for that. Rainbow Scallopers, perfect. We'll do 12 rotations. Um, boom. We'll open it up while we wait. Yeah, charge $1 for it, and I will repaint it the original color scheme here that it was. Okay. This I know that this I believe was a different color. I think it was just red and white, but that's fine. Looks good as it is. Um, or I'll keep it so that it's original. There we go. Um, so we have the launched free fall. Looking over here, maybe right here would be a good place. Right here or right here. Give something else to do kind of on this leg out. It's one of the few flat pieces of land we have left that's easily accessible by a path. Um, the top spin is also available. I don't think I want to use that one in this scenario. It's just not a very good performing ride. Build a custom design here. If I build it on this side, it will. Yeah, if I build it over here, I'm going to have to do a ramp up. If I build it over here, I may be able to get away with not having a ramp. Let's do this. I believe I built it about 110 feet tall in Leafy Lake. It is up on the hill on this edge a little bit, so it will be a little bit taller in height, but the actual tower height um, will not be anything too crazy. Um, we'll do the upwards launch, entrance exit. In fact, that's a good idea. Build them like this. Yeah, build them on the sides so that a ramp can easily come down there. Oh, okay. I totally thought that yeah. I totally thought that I built at the same height in Leafy Lake, but apparently I was like one too short. Let's see how this does. Yeah, even then, um, with people that might crash. So we'll build it up another block there. I know that I'm using a cheat there, reset the crash status, but I don't want people saying that this ride is unsafe. We're in the last year of gameplay here, and this ride's going to add to the park value. Um, Something like that. No, no, it's an ugly color too. We'll go with the white and the green, I guess. Blue seats maybe, and we'll see how this does. Okay, so that's much better. The queue line. Is this right up the surface? No. Okay, so maybe go down one. I like the way that that looks, kind of on the diagonal, sort of there. It actually looks like the path is going diagonally in a way. That should be enough queue length for this attraction. Then the exit ramp, um, we'll do it in the dark style ramp, um, and we'll just bring it down here. It's good. I did sacrifice one of the benches there, so I'll put a couple of benches in on the exit ramp. This is a more intense ride. Um, name. So it's always like naming is the hardest part. Let's see. Old Faithful, maybe. If we put some geysers around there, Old Faithful. I don't know. I think we'd have to go with more of a water sort of theme. Maybe we'll do a teal instead down there. And if we can get some of these little fountains, um, oh, we don't have the little curved one. We only have the this sort of one. But I was planning on removing a couple of these anyways for the River Rapids ride, so that will help serve the purpose there. And maybe um, just do sort of a rocky texture for this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Cover that little peninsula. Sure. Um, yeah, high intensity rating, but not very high or anything like that. It will be able to charge 350 per ride, which is good. The car, I'm actually gonna go with like a dark brown. It's kind of a very odd color collection, but I'm not too concerned about it as long as it makes money and adds to the park value. Um, Now I'm gonna go for the River Rapids ride, I believe. Let's see what we got here. Park values 259,000. It will drop, but we're at a pretty good cushion above where we need to be. May 10th of year three, so we're a couple months in now. I definitely don't want to start losing. I don't. Oh, and I do see some bins there that have been destroyed. I definitely don't want to take the foot off the gas here because these scenarios are harder typically to um, what's the word I'm looking for? They're harder to complete. They're harder to keep that cushion in a way. The cushion that we have, the $59,000. So hire another handyman. Let me take a drink of water. Mine's getting all confused here. Maybe this is the next ride that we replace. I might leave the pirate ship alone. That's going to be a little bit dicier. Not necessarily, but to replace Purple Pal Rounds was the name of this one. And for those who are wondering once again why I'm doing this, the rides will decrease in value over time. So was that the purple it was before? No, it was that one. The rides will decrease in value over time. So, for flat rides, generally, um, they only cost a couple of $100s to construct, anyways. But if the value of the ride, if it's at the end of the game and it's crunch time, the difference between 249,000 or $199,000, $500, and $200,000, that couple extra $100 may get you over the value you're trying to obtain. So, it doesn't hurt. We're not ruining any of the scenery or we're not spending money on any terrain. We're simply selling the ride. We're taking a bit of a loss. You're never going to get back the value of the ride when it originally opened, but the park value will go up by, a modest amount, a couple $100, just by renewing the rides. And as you can see, it's the same name, it's the same ride. The popularity will come back. People, because it's a new ride, quote unquote, people will be more willing to spend full price on it and ride it. So now the River Rapids ride, I think that I'm probably going to bridge the queue off of one of these three piers. I don't want to go up and down the terrain. Um, but have it take up most of the space, put some fountains in the middle type of thing. Nothing crazy, but I may reclaim some land. We have a lot of money now. I might try to reclaim some land around the pier and put like a reservoir in the center so it's more realistic looking. Generally, the river rapids rides do cost a lot in this game in terms of operating costs, but they're higher capacity. They have higher value because they're more money to construct, I guess. We'll go with a very basic sort of layout here. A station. Maybe it turns inwards like this into some rapids. 3 rapids. Um, Maybe a whirlpool here into waterfalls. We could do an on-ride photo, I guess. Some more rapids. Yeah. Um, Straight track. Some more waterfalls. And then the final thing I'm looking to do here is, just a simple, maybe a 15-foot drop or so. And we're just gonna have to um, loop it around a little bit here. Comes close to the boardwalk, and we'll do one more station platform. Um, that's about it. Colors, normally these are concrete, so more of a gray. Um, the supports, we'll go with a gray as well. Um, yeah, unless there's sort of a yeah, there aren't too many options when it comes to that. We'll keep we'll keep the black seats, orange orange boats. A lot of the Intamin style rapids rides have orange style boats like this, and I don't know exactly. Yeah, that's too many. I'm looking for more along the lines of like 10 boats. They're very high capacity as well, so um, yep, just spilling over the station platform a little bit there. We'll start testing this bad boy. Um, Probably going to get about 3-4 bucks as well for this ride. It's not going to be a very intense ride though, so capacity will be limited. And we'll have that new factor though. People will ride it because it's new, and I am gonna go ahead and reclaim some of the land here along the rapids ride, just so it looks a little bit better. We definitely have the money to spare at this part of the scenario. Center of the ride, yeah, center of the ride. I'm gonna keep the reservoir, maybe not to the size it is right now, but we'll keep this little bit of water back here. This isn't going to be a perfect job. I'll go back and I'll kind of smooth out some of the edges, but yeah, I just kind of want to get some of this land back. Um, while this tests out, and we have enough money built up that I have to go up one with these. Over here, I might keep most of this here. Yeah, I'll keep that. Middle of the ride, reservoir sort of area. And then I'll go back down 1 square. Why did I do that? Oh, I gotta take water and okay. This one I'll pull up so it's more of a smooth bank. No. Do that one as well. We already did the grassy mud over there, so maybe over here, just do some normal mud, maybe some redstone as well mixed in there. It looks pretty good. And maybe a tad bit over it there in the corner. We'll put some of those fountains back in the middle of the ride that were there before. It's really all we can kind of do. We'll add to the excitement value. There we go. And we don't really have any other scenery elements that we can use, so I'll start building the queue line out. Use some crazy paving. Why is this up? Too many. So then this, I'll make this queue line a little bit, different than what we're used to seeing. Normally, I just snake it around as quickly as possible. Right up to there. So that'll be adjacent right to that pathway, kind of a main pathway. A lot of people will go on this ride, hopefully. Um, Add some of these scraggly bushes in here. Actually, I'll use the random tool. I actually kind of like the way that looks, those bushes in the center there. I'll add some cattails as well. Too bad we don't have lily pads. The lily pads would have been nice to put in the middle. Have any trees to use? I don't want to random those. We'll put a lot of these along side of the ride. Make it look a little more closed in, realistic, and probably some weeping willow trees as well. Why not? The edges do look very kind of primitive here, and not too well done, but it takes away from the big amount of water in the center. You still do have the reservoir here in the middle that the ride uses, some fountains. So add a couple willow trees in here. Sure. Um, Colorado River, Colorado River journey. I don't know. Colorado River journey, 3.92. Yeah, so 350 is what we'll get out of it, but it does have the on-ride photo, so the potential to get 650 out of this ride. The running cost isn't too crazy, so we'll see if people like this. This will add to the park value. Certainly, we'll add another ride. Um, we'll advertise it to help get some more people in the park. Um, yeah, we'll do 2 advertising campaigns. We do have over 1,000 guests in the park now, which is where I thought we would be at, probably about half an hour ago or so. Let me see what the park value is. 272,000. So we're greatly increasing that cushion. Um, Take a look at what rides we have here. So thrill rides, we put in the launch free fall. We do have the top spin and the ranger sort of ride. I don't know if I'm going to put those in. Roller coasters. Let's see here. Yeah, so we are still researching gentle rides and thrill rides. I was gonna put sort of like a tracked car ride back here and close in this midway with this one. I don't even think we need to though. We're at July of year three, so we're closing in on the end of the year, and our park value is good. I'm probably gonna fast forward here. Let's see, just a bit and see what happens. Too high for speed. Man, very choppy hyperspeed. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Park value is still holding very steady, around 250, 260,000. We only need 200 to win. The scenario. Yeah, let's hyperspeed it. Yep, we'll win. With give or take 50,000 more. Obviously, if we would have continued playing and building rides, we would have had a little bit more. So we'll end the year with about 250,000, which is a decent cushion to pass it by. Could have had more definitely, but it is what it is. So that's another one down. Thankfully, I did not lose the connection at all. So I think that's all I'm going to do for today. Let me save this game. We'll do a little bit of a recap what we did here. I've been streaming now for almost 3 hours, so either tomorrow or next time I stream, we'll get into Evergreen Gardens. The other scenarios, obviously, I fast forwarded much earlier into the scenario once the guest requirements and the park ratings were satisfied. But this one with the park value, it's so much harder to gauge. Now in a 4 days time period, the park's already apparently dropped $4,000 value. But yeah, let's go along and look at what I did kind of. So front of the park here, we started out no shops, no stalls or nothing. The drink stall was not available, but the information kiosk was, so I put one of these in. I added a pizza stall. First thing that was researched was the drink stall. So, essentially, I only started off with one bathroom right here, a couple of food stands, and an info kiosk for this entire property. And still, to even right now in the game, I've only added a couple more, an ice cream stand and another drink stand. And I haven't gotten any complaints from people. So, it's quite amazing that a park of this size, only a handful of shops and stalls were necessary, and I didn't want to waste a lot of research into it for the reason being that pretty much all the rides that were given at the beginning of the scenario were already in use, and it's not unpreferable to duplicate the ride types that you have in the park because it does hurt the value of the park towards or hurt the value of the ride towards the park value. So most of these existing rides got modified in some sort of way. Snake River Falls, I simply added more boats to it um, to add the capacity because one of the things that plays in the park value is how many riders are getting on rides. So more boats and lower dispatch intervals equals more park value. The railroad I didn't modify really at all. I was expecting to move around a couple chunks a bit. The only chunk that got moved was this turn right here, which I tunneled when I put in the inverted coaster. Um, Arachnophobia, I just put block brakes at the end. I lengthened the trains so that it went down from something like four car trains to two 8-car trains or something like that. They might be 9 cars. Same thing with agoraphobia and claustrophobia. Added the block brakes at the end. Changed the price. Doppelganger, I didn't touch at all this entire scenario. It's just kind of been a workhorse attraction back here um, that I didn't do anything with. I preserved the two gentle rides, but I did rebuild them at the beginning or so of year three. Just to renew their value, I did shorten the cycles a little bit on all the flat rides so that more riders can get on them. Right away, I added in Bounty, which was the pirate ship in this area of the park, and the Scrambler in this flat piece of land over here. I did rebuild the Scrambler, but the pirate ship has been the original since I built it. It's been operating. I very well could have replaced it easily, but I chose not to. So the first custom ride I built was the wooden coaster right here. Grizzly Run, I ended up calling it. I was kind of going for sort of a more twister layout coaster. I had to shorten it a little bit because I was having a lot of problems in this area of looping it back around to the station. But it opened, it does have a photo section, and it does have very good stats for the size that it is. So that's good. I then put in the small go kart track over here. The plan was to kind of loop this midway around and connect it to this end of the park over here. But this was a can design. It's been working really well. It's got a short cycle. It's 2 laps, but it makes money and was an attraction that certainly helped the park value. And then finally here, this was kind of crunch time last year of operation. I put in Nightcrawler, which is this B&M inverted coaster over here. Developed this land, modified the railroad. The coaster didn't interfere with the railroad, but the queue line and the paths did, so I tunneled it underneath there, temporarily closed it to modify that, and opened this one up. Old Faithful was the last flat ride I put in, this launch tower ride, and I dressed up the peninsula that it sits on here, added this diagonal pathway. And then the final ride I put in before I fast forwarded was the raft ride, Colorado River Journey. Doesn't seem to be doing too popular right now, but yeah, it makes money when people are going on it when it isn't raining. We do have a lot of money here, no loan, so I ended up reclaiming a lot of this land, dressing it up, leaving the reservoir in the center of the ride. But the ride kind of snakes around, goes through some whirlpools, waterfalls, and it does have one drop to add for the excitement value of it. Because if not, raft rides are generally very low intensity, low excitement. But this one at was it $3 or 350 pop? 350 a pop with the optional on ride photo has been performing pretty well so far. Um, yeah, so overall, I'm happy with how it came out. We had over 1,000 guests for the last year or so. The attendance held pretty steady there. That's about what you should have for a park of the size. Not a little bit more, but some of these attractions are aging and have been here since day one. The park opened with a little over 500 guests, so I kind of doubled what was given. And if you think about it too, 4 coasters, I ended up adding 3 coasters. Oh, and I totally forgot about. We'll come back to this. I added 3 coasters, 2 track rides. Obviously the raft ride is longer and better than the go kart ride, but couple flat rides, couple stalls. This was actually the first attraction we put in because it was the first coaster researched outside of the ones that were existing. Rodent race up at the front gate. Simply built a bridge over the railroad station, small queue line. It is a cans design, but I did not feel like spending time on designing a spinning wild mouse. This design certainly, for the size of it, it brings in quite a bit of money. Remains popular, quick cycle time, and it interacts with the railroad. It actually added a little bit of excitement to the railroad because it goes right over the tracks there. But Um, yeah, all in all, I'm decently happy with how the park came out. I wasn't so happy with how it was going at first with some of the piecemeal rides I put in, but closing in the middle of the park here, reclaiming some land, building this pier around, and I think with some more time and space, you could really deck this park out. This may be one that I revisit in sort of a sandbox mode in the future and continue building on this. It's not perfect, but certainly out of all the tries I've ever done with Diamond Heights, one of the better, if not the best attempt so far that I've done with this. All right. So I'm going to cut the stream short there. Thank you for watching. If you have, this video will be going up on YouTube, but it will be available on Twitch as long as it can be as well. I'll probably be back tomorrow or sometime within the next few days streaming Evergreen Gardens, Bumbley Beach, and the next scenarios up on the list. Um, so thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and I'll see you guys soon.